Right, Amy, please stay with us. Now, while we're talking about the US presidential elections, US President Joe Biden is likely to announce his re-election campaign by Tuesday, setting the stage for a possible political rematch with his Republican predecessor, Donald Trump. Biden, who is now 80 years old, is the oldest person to have occupied the White House. Biden plans to campaign on his recent track record, presiding over the economic recovery after the COVID pandemic and record job growth. However, it can't be ignored that inflation, which is at a 40-year high in the United States, has made a huge dent in his tenure. While Democrats are divided over picking Biden for the top post in 2024, Republicans haven't chosen their presidential candidate so far.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. do so.
U.S. President Joe Biden may announce his re-election campaign by video as soon as next Tuesday, according to sources on Thursday, setting the stage for a possible rematch with his Republican predecessor Donald Trump. Although a source cautioned that the exact timing of Biden's campaign announcement could change. Biden, now 80 years old, is the oldest person to have occupied the White House. If he secures another four-year term, he'd be 86 by the end of it. In recent weeks, Biden has laid out the likely themes of a re-election bid in political speeches and secured a doctor's note that says he is fit for duty. He plans to campaign on his recent track record, presiding over the economic recovery after COVID-19 and record job growth, although a 40-year high in inflation has marred his tenure. Democrats are split on whether he should run for office again in 2024. A March Reuters Ipsos poll found 45% of Democrats believed he should not run again, with 48% saying he should. A separate Reuters Ipsos poll released on Sunday found just 39% of Americans approve of his job performance. The White House and the Democratic National Committee declined to comment. Biden is expected to meet next week with top fundraisers from his last campaign, a key sign to showing whether his strongest supporters can overcome doubts about his age and prospects in another grueling race. Republicans have not picked their candidate for the presidential election yet, but polls show Trump leading over a pack of declared and undeclared GOP candidates, including Ron DeSantis, Mike Pence, and Nikki Haley.
Amy continues to be with us on the broadcast. Amy, I'm sure that you don't support Joe Biden. You want a Republican in the White House. But at the end of the day, it all depends upon who Joe Biden faces in the presidential elections. So give me a scenario here. Joe Biden versus Trump or Joe Biden versus DeSantis? What's the best bet for the Republicans?
Well, I think that the Democrats believe that Donald Trump is going to be their best bet because they can go ahead and, use all of his bitterness and anger and frustration that he keeps repeating over and over from his recent loss and talking about election fraud and the fact they can bring up January 6th and a number of other issues dealing with, the documents that they found at Mar-a-Lago. I mean, there's so many different things that they can rehash to make him, look like a terrible human being. Whereas if you choose any of the others that you've listed, as far as character wise, it's very difficult to hit any of those possible nominees with their character and maybe just have to go towards the comparison of issues, which really that should be the way that the campaign works. But that's not how it works nowadays. It gets, very ugly and dirty. And so I think that they're hoping for that. Now, I know Democrats, and I know not one is exactly thrilled about a re-election possibility of Joe Biden. Are they going to bite the bullet and hold their nose if it's between Trump and Biden? Yes, they absolutely will at the end of the day. But I know that they're not excited about him, and they also are not excited about Kamala Harris also, returning. There was a poll that was put out this morning, I believe, from New Hampshire, where even if Kamala were to run for president, I think she was only given like 2% of the vote. I mean, they are both very disliked, and President Biden, I believe, is only registering in the 30 percentile of approval. And so, we have very dismal choices right now. Another person who entered the Republican side of the race today was Larry Elder, who lost the governor race in California. So it's not looking very promising for a new, fresh voice and face. I still think Ron DeSantis may do a good job, at least for the primary. And that's why we see Donald Trump constantly attacking only him out of all the others who have already announced their run for president. Now, on the Democrat side, I did actually happen to listen to Robert Kennedy Jr., who they say currently takes about 14 to 15% of Biden voters, and he's considered to be a more moderate Democrat. And so, it'll be interesting to see how his message carries for those who are tired of President Biden.
But you know for a fact that the Democrats will go for a two-term presidency when it comes to Joe Biden. They'll make that push for a two-term presidency for Joe Biden because, and all the likelihood is that, and CNN has reported, other channels have reported it, that he will announce his candidature for 2024 on Tuesday. My point is, looking at the opinion polls in the Republican camp, Donald Trump is miles ahead of everyone else. But as you're pointing out, if he wins all the primaries, if he gets the Republican ticket for 2024, it's advantage Joe Biden.
Yes, many believe that. And it's interesting to actually watch the slow pivot of Donald Trump's positioning, too, on a number of issues. He's now coming towards the left of Governor DeSantis on a number of things. He's now, backing the Disneyland feud that Governor DeSantis has going on. He's now pivoting more to the left on the abortion issue, saying that it was a mistake for him to do the 6-week heartbeat ban for abortion. And so now you have those who are claiming that President Trump was the most conservative president. Now you have pro-life groups that are saying, shame on Donald Trump for going to the left of Ron DeSantis. So now conservatives are going to have to really take a hard look and see, is this really the guy who I thought it was? And am I going to continue to support him, or am I going to look elsewhere?
Right. Thank you, Amy Tarkanian, Republican strategist, for decoding the dynamics of American politics on the run-up to the 2024 presidential elections.